They take home court advantage. You take it right back. That's what I like to see. Heat win game 3, 109-103. Good to be back with everybody. By the way, I just want to make a point out. Everybody was like, oh, you were so scared to make it. Dude, listen to me. I had a lot of stuff going on after the game 2 loss. First of all, I worked double duty. Radio show, did the radio post game show. I got home at like 2 in the morning. Had my son's kindergarten graduation afterwards. Had to take my wife to urgent care. Excuse me if I couldn't give you a reaction video. Here's what it would have been. Game 2. There's my reaction to it. But here I am for game 3. And I would have reacted one way or the other. However, it is quite nicer reacting to a victory for the Miami Heat, as this was a tremendous all-guts win for your favorite basketball team. Bam Adebayo, start with him. I was on the post game with Tommy Tog, and I said, look, I don't think this is a case of Bam being aggressive. I don't think this is a case of him not being aggressive. I think this is a case of lost in trying to get a lot of people open. No Kyle Lowry out there, and I don't think they know how to get him the ball. And you saw today that this was a big, big shift in the game plan of getting Bam the basketball early, having Kyle Lowry would look like the first healthy Kyle Lowry we have seen all playoffs long. He has been dealing with this hamstring injury. Definitely looked a lot different, where he was putting that up pace, high tempo offense, that Kyle chaos that we've come to know and love this season with his first season with the Miami Heat. He was really getting that ball moving, getting that ball cooking. And the Miami Heat just absolutely bludgeoned the Boston Celtics to start this game. They won the quarter 39-18. And it's been a weird thing this series for sure, with the wild blowout quarters that we have seen between Boston in game 2, between Miami's game 3, where they come out in the third quarter, and this game just starting out of the gate. Because this is the thing that's funny about it, is you would think that going into Boston, you're like, oh my God, it's Boston. They cheer and they don't say they're ours. It's going to be so scary. Same thing they said about Philadelphia. And the Miami Heat just took a big poop on that home court advantage like right away. And started this game, and they just couldn't miss. It was tremendous. They were picking the pocket of Boston, which has been a really big theme. You know, this has been a talking point of two vaunted defenses, two really, really stingy teams, and I think that's probably why you're seeing these big swings, is that like one team can shut you down for a little bit, but they do have that offensive firepower. The other team has tremendous ability to take away the basketball. Miami was a block party in that third quarter in game 1. This time they were just stealing left and right. Miami tonight with 19 steals on the game. Bam Adebayo with 4, Kyle Lowry with 4, Jimmy Butler had 2 in just a half, PJ Tucker had 3, and Victor Oladipo, my God, Victor Oladipo, son, this guy was an absolute menace out there. He was going out there. I mean, like, look, Jaylen Brown had a fantastic game and nearly willed the Celtics back by himself with his 40-piece. He might have had 50 if there was no Victor Oladipo tonight on the possessions, because he really, really did everything he could to try and slow that train down. It was an all-guts win tonight, man, because you're not only talking about going into Boston and getting a win, but you have a situation where you lose Jimmy Butler in the middle of this game. We come back at halftime, which was already a clown show to begin with, because this ESPN broadcast was just so Sully and Murphed to death. Like, it was, you really thought like Mike Greenberg should have just been up there wearing the leprechaun outfit. You know, like, I'm surprised Stephen A. Smith wasn't just wearing the Kelly Green, like, all up there. You know, shout out to Jalen Rose, who was rocking the red and black, so it makes me feel a little bit better. But it was just, they were so in the bag for Boston. Like, Jason Tatum hits this three-point shot. They go on a 10-0 run to end the second quarter. Jason Tatum hits a three-pointer, brings it within 15. You would have thought that it was a game-tying three-pointer the way they were talking about this. Like, Miami had this 26-point lead, and then Boston, they're within 15. It's like, yeah, okay, that's not good. That's not good. Like, was there a peep about anything from Miami in that halftime show? Not a peep. Not a peep. We know how this rolls. We knew this coming into this series. We knew this is how it was going to be. But these referees, my God, I didn't even realize tonight, and this thing was wild about it, I didn't even realize that tonight's game, Bam Adebayo had 31 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 steals. He had 1 free throw. One free throw. He was 15 of 22 tonight. One free throw. Think about that. A center is in there going and getting to the rack. And he had the one play with Grant Williams hacking him all over the arm. They go to the review booth. They put on their blinders like, Boston didn't commit a foul. We can't call it, otherwise all the O'Keefes and he'll be mad at us. So they completely ignore that. But one free throw for a guy who was like the leading guy for Miami all night, taking it to the rack. He's not like, his jump shot was back tonight, which was that was a marvel to see. The Bam Adebayo, Bashi Bear, silky smooth J. That was beautiful to see from Bam. But one free throw? I mean, you go back and you see these numbers, and it's like the Celtics shot 23 of 30 from the free throw line tonight, and the Heat were 12 of 14. I don't have the exact numbers, but I would love to go back and see how many of those were within like the last 90 seconds of Boston intentionally fouling Miami to finish up the game. Because at one point it felt like it was like 30-5. It was so over the top. They were giving every call to Boston. The worst one was the Caleb Martin was out on the break, and they give Marcus Smart position because they say his elbow hit him in the face. It's like, dude, what is he supposed to do? Marcus Smart's face is right there. Caleb Martin's going for the fast break. They're like, foul, and it swings the other way for Boston. It was just, it really did feel like 8-on-5 tonight. In every which way, they were trying to give Boston this game and do what they can to go out there and will the Celtics to get this comeback victory. And Miami just held strong. I mean, just held strong with everything seemingly like it was going against him in this game. Jimmy Bucket's getting hurt. Tyler Hero looks like he is banged up because he didn't have anything going tonight. I've never seen Tyler Hero, and I know he's not having a good series, and he's not having a good playoffs from downtown. Tyler Hero's say what you want about it. You might say he's getting swallowed up. This dude has a smoothness to his game, and he looks very, very uncomfortable out there right now, and he had his leg wrapped up. I'm wondering what's going on with Tyler Hero there. I think they said something was banged up in the aftermath of this. Be curious to see. I know ESPN won't mention if he's hurt, though. They'll be out there and just ignoring it. I mean, like, this is the thing that's funny about it. I go and I watch this broadcast, and, you're stuck with them, right? God love the radio broadcast. I'm not going to be syncing up them with the TV. I got to keep it as in real time as possible. But, they have these two injuries that happen in the second half with Marcus Smart and Jason Tatum. And Marcus Smart gets his ankle rolled up. It doesn't look great. But, we've seen guys get ankle injuries before. It's not like he's coming back from like death's door. And you would have thought that this was like the first person to ever twist their ankle in the history of basketball. And I knew as soon as he goes back there, I said he's going to come back in 3 seconds. He's going to give the crowd a big pop. It's such an obvious Marcus Smart move. The dude is a show pony. He loves theatrics. Did the same thing against the Heat when the regular season ender, which was really like determining what the 1 seed was going to be, where he got kicked out at the end of the game for no reason, just because he just wanted the ovation from the crowd. So yeah, it didn't look like a great injury, but I was like, I can see him coming back from that. Like, people come back from ankle injuries all the time. And sure enough, like, right on cue, here he comes out of the tunnel, and it's just like, Marcus Smart, he's back. And hits the 3, brings them within 10, and, okay. But they keep talking about this thing. This is the heart and soul of the Celtics. He's the heart and soul. Meanwhile, like, completely ignoring that the best player in the playoffs is like in the back of the locker room, not coming back. And it was even funny. Like, at one point, Mark Jackson goes, at this time, you would wonder, does Jimmy Butler look at this and say, I have to come back? It's like, well, obviously he can't, because they ruled him out at halftime. Like, Victor Oladipo's there. And you just think that anybody can just come off of any injury because, Mark Jackson thinks everybody can just tell their body not now. And then the same thing happens with Jason Tatum where, Victor Oladipo picks his pocket and, like, he, like, starts grabbing his shoulder. And you're like, all right, well, what happened there? And he's, like, writhing in pain, and he's, like, crying on the floor. I don't know if he was trying to get a call or what the hell was going on. So he goes back to the locker room, And then sure enough, as the team is about to make a run back into it, there he is popping back out. And the first play in, he like runs through Bam like he's a fullback. Completely fine. And they're putting up graphics afterwards on ESPN like Marcus Smart and Jason Tatum. These are actual graphics. Suffer severe looking injuries. Not severe injuries, severe looking injuries. I've never seen anything like this. What is this? Is this a diagnosis? And meanwhile, he don't have Jimmy Butler the entire second half. It's crazy to me. People think you're crazy when you say this stuff. They think you're crazy. They think we're all crazy down here. But it's like you're so in the bag for Boston. You'll sit there talking about 2 injuries. On Twitter, I describe them as fake. You could call them fake. You could call them bad looking. Whatever. They weren't as bad as Jimmy Butler being out for half. And you have these people fawning over them for like boo-boos. Little boo-boos. And they're back out there. PJ Tucker calls that a Tuesday. It was wild to me, man. It was wild to me seeing that kind of coverage. But look, all that stuff aside, who gives a rat's ass, right? The Heat are up 2-1 in this series. We got a monster coming up on Monday because if the Heat take that, we would be putting on our monocles and top hats. Monocles and top hats could be polished off. I may be going to the FTX Arena coming up on Wednesday in a top hat and monocle. That may be my press attire. I finally won't have to do a game in the press box. I won't have to do in the radio booth. I won't have to do that coverage. Zaslow is back. So I may be going and dressed to the nines. We might see. I might pull up a table right outside FTX Arena just drinking mint juleps like a true gentleman. We'll see. We'll see. But big business coming up on Monday. Big business. I can't, though, say enough about what Bam Adebayo brought to the table tonight because I want to tell you something. This fan base, they go at this guy relentlessly. And I get it. Bam makes a lot of money. You know, he's one of the max players. But first of all, disrespected yet again by making second team all defense when he's the best defender on the planet. Go explain it to me. The guy's the best defender on the planet. Not Marcus Smart, not Rudy Gobert, and not that fraud Bridges in Phoenix. It's Bam Adebayo. And he's on second team. They put Jaren Jackson ahead of him by 1 vote. Garbage. So forget that. Put that aside. But they go at him because, oh, Bam, you're not aggressive enough. Bam, take over. This guy is so unselfish for his team, you know, with trying to get people open with those damn dribble handoffs all the time and trying to facilitate. He's got such a skill for it, such a knack for it. But he really is so dynamic when he gets going. He's so damn fast. And I do think I think part of the frustration is in love, but I get annoyed with the message that the Heat fan gives it, the way they give it to Bam. You know, because he really can't be stopped when he puts his mind to it. I really think that. The quickness that he has, the burst that he has, you know, sometimes a little goofy with those post moves, but I tell you what, when he just gets his head and he hits those handles at the top of the key, he's so damn fast. I don't know how you stay in front of him. I really don't. As a defender, I don't know how you deal with that. And he looked unbelievable tonight. Calling for the ball in the first half. I loved seeing that from 13. I love seeing that. More. As your guy Kobe Bean Bryant would say, Bam, more. Just more. More of that. It was fantastic to see. Really, really was. Max Strus, I just want to pinch that handsome devil's cheeks for that Onions 3-ball. He hits that 3-pointer to put the Heat up 4. And not gonna lie, the cheeks were getting tight at that point. Cheeks were tight, looking bad there in Boston. It looked very much like things were going to fall apart. Jaylen Brown brought it to within 1, 93-92. And Max Strus, Kyle Lowry, as he said, set up the play for him, calls the play for him. They set up Max Strus, boom, puts him up 4. Game changer. Bam Adebayo, next possession after a shot clock turnover. He hits the jump shot. Heat then go up 6. Then Grant Williams, he gets fouled. He fouls PJ Tucker. Heat go up 8. That's all she wrote. F*** Boston. I do love when they went to Pat Riley because that's all I could really think. When they go to Pat Riley and they pan in on the Godfather and I see him there and he's got his mask on and I could just see him under. I know under that mask that's exactly what he's saying. He's going, Boston. Boston. I could just, the Godfather's saying it. He's thinking it. And so that made me very happy. Kyle Lowry, huge having him back tonight. It really was. It felt like it felt like he really got things settled down. Still doesn't quite have the shot, but 11 points tonight, 6 assists, 4 steals. He was a menace. They're not going to give him those Kyle Lowry calls, especially in Boston, especially this crew. This crew looks like they got the ringer on like their favorites on Spotify. It's like nonstop Bill Simmons podcast. It looked like this crew had going on. PJ Tucker was an absolute animal today. He had 17 points, 7 rebounds. That little floater was absolutely pure. He was 3 of 6 from that sweet corner spot. He was money tonight. It was just an all-around team win, dude. It was an all-around team win from everybody. It felt like Caleb Martin tonight, giving you everything that he could. Victor Oladipo, I just can't speak enough of, because he comes out and starts that half and is just such a menace and is just disrupting. He only had that one basket, but it was a big one. I really, really was impressed all the way around from this team. It was an all-time Heat playoff win from the standpoint of the adversity they had to go through. And you may say, Tobin, what are you talking about? They were up 26 points. What kind of adversity? Dude, it's the playoffs. I did not feel comfortable when they were up 26. I did not feel comfortable with them up 20. I did not feel comfortable with them up 15. I did not feel comfortable with them up 1. I did not feel comfortable with them up 8 with a minute left. Like, until those zeros hit on the road, that is when you play Pepas and you celebrate. That is why we only play Pepas at home. We do not play Pepas on the road. That is why. Because the cheeks stay tight and you do not relax the cheeks until the zeros hit. That is when you go and you relax the cheeks. That's when that gets going. But oh my God, this national media, the way they are fawning over these Celtics, it is really, really something. It is really something. And there have been a lot of injuries so far. You think about Smart out, Al Horford. I mean, that was health and safety. It wasn't really an injury, but he was out. Then Heat the next game around still don't have Kyle Lowry, which has not been talked about up until this point. Like, nobody even acknowledges that the Heat have not had Kyle Lowry at any point in this series, and have not even in the last series, because he looked like a shell of himself in those 2 Sixers games that he plays. He did not look ready to come back. Tonight he looked a lot better. Just the way he was pushing pace, the way he was running all the way around. Still not quite, I think, that burst to the rim. I mean, we haven't seen a Kyle Lowry who attacks like that. He's definitely been much more comfortable as an outside shooter here, but the as far as just pushing up, keeping the head up of everybody, that was definitely noticeable. That was not there in Philadelphia. So that could be huge. The news on Jimmy is it's not severe. So he has had this knee thing that's been kind of hanging around. You can see on Jimmy's Instagram page, like, he's got that rehab that he's got always going on, the IV drip and all that type of stuff that he's throwing up there. So hopefully this is maybe the thought was it was just so uncomfortable. You don't want to do something bad, and I think the thinking is you're up 15, maybe you can will it without him, and then you did, and now you can go get that house money game coming up on game 4 with him, not having to push through it. And for them, they've had to do it without Robert Williams, who looked like something happened in the midst of that blowout. Like, he did grab his leg at one point, and now he's out. He's been dealing with this knee thing. But quite frankly, like, look, having him out is definitely not great, but the Grant Williams has been absolutely fantastic for him, and Al Horford has been giving him everything they could possibly hope for in their games too. So it's definitely a storyline for sure, especially when you don't have guys hamming it up like old Marcus Smart and Jason Tatum were. I mean, thespians to the highest degree. I've seen better acting in Royal Rumble, to be honest with you. It was basically like they wanted their music to hit and to run down the ramp, Ultimate Warrior style. That's what it felt like to me. Theatrics, dude. Theatrics. I'm looking forward to game 4. We'll have a reaction to that, man. But huge night from Bam, dude. Huge night from number 13. He continues to be the Celtics daddy. Took him a couple games to get going on the offensive side of the ball, but tonight was a monster. And I think that he's going to be a problem for them this series if he continues to have this mentality. And then you think about what a healthy Jimmy Butler or a rejuvenated Jimmy Butler will do for Miami. They go Boston. It's tight cheeks time, dude, for you guys. I hope all you Sully and Murphs have your Sam Adams ready, because you're gonna need this one on Monday.